So, I'm going to kind of recap the important strategy points from this game. Early on, if you see the human player teching fast and creeping green camps, and you know he's not expanding, what you want to do is focus on creeping yourself a little bit more. You're not going to have to worry about bringing your ghouls over to attack an expansion or anything like that. In fact, you can kind of creep just with your ghouls and Death Knight together as long as you keep a thumb on him and make sure he doesn't expand. As long as you see the enemy Archmage and that Archmage is still level 1, you know that he hasn't crept out an expansion, so basically don't waste your energy on it. Just kind of power yourself up, go ahead and get your tech like normal, and go ahead and get double slaughterhouses and mass destroyers. Even though it's, it's kind of the cookie cutter, and I know a lot of people shy away from cookie cutter, but when it's the right choice, it's the right choice. And dual slaughterhouses, pumping destroyers is definitely one of the right choices that you can make against a human player that isn't going for an expansion. Later in the game, in the mid-game, the important point is for you to keep on his butt and don't let him power creep. If he's getting his Mountain King up in levels, you're going to have problems. So what you want to do is creep your army, get a shade, follow him around, creep your army as long as your enemy isn't really doing anything all that big. And when he really starts to get some creeping momentum, you want to go creep jack him. Late game, eventually, the Mountain King and Paladin will get some high levels, hopefully not totally excessive if you keep on his case. But in that case, what you want to do is engage him with your destroyers first, and that way you're not going to have to worry about your heroes getting nuked down. Also, a good way to defeat gyrocopters is just with your normal chain morph push. The splash damage from the destroyers ends up really blowing the crap out of his gyrocopter army. So, flying machines. I'm calling them gyrocopters. I don't think they've been called that for a very long time. But, in a way it's very cookie cutter, but that is one case in which destroyers are the right way to go. Next time around, I will try to find you guys a game where destroyers actually aren't the right choice, and also where the human player does expand. But I believe this strategy is an equally important one to know how to beat, because if you go after it the same way you go after an expanding human player that is focusing everything on harassing and scouting for expansion attempts, you're going to end up having him mass up a bunch of tier 3 stuff and nuking the crap out of you. So I hope you guys learned something from this audio commentary. I personally have been working on my game a lot lately. I actually got over rank 200 on Azeroth, and kind of getting to the point where I might actually be good enough to feature one of my own games as the main thing in the audio, as opposed to a silly little aside. But I think I kind of got owned by Experience Decay or something like that. Okay, let me go ahead and get to the shout-outs, because I need to be wrapping this up pretty soon. Have a guy named the King Arthas that commented on my last audio commentary and gave some good advice that I've actually used pretty successfully in latter games since. That when you have a sight challenge situation, like you're trying to fire with your meat wagons and you're trying to hit, like it's nighttime and you can't see all the way to the target, you can use the attack ground command. What that does is it lets them fire into something that they actually can't see. As a result, they don't do quite as much damage to the target, but I think they actually do more splash damage. So it's pretty damn useful if you're for some reason using wagons against a human player. Like you can take out clustered farms pretty fast with that. He also mentioned that the miss percentage is 25% when you're shooting uphill. So if you're fighting an uphill battle, your ranged units will miss 25% of the time. And he also mentioned that saying that there are only two sizes of units is not exactly true. There are actually, a lot of different collision sizes in the game. But what I was talking about was strictly for how they walk between undead buildings, and I think for the most part it is true that there are only two sides. IMAS Pitlords requests a shout out for Angry Korea Man, and asks, please find me Softer Kitten. For those of you who haven't been to Angry Korea Man's forums, they are absolutely freaking hilarious, and I highly recommend them. Let me see if I can find the link here. Okay, I don't know what it is. Just like go on Google or something and search for Angry Korea Man forums and just read through some of the threads. The stuff the guy posts in there is absolutely hilarious. I think that's about all I got. If somebody else asked for a shout out and I forgot you, I apologize. Just ask me again, and I swear to God I'll remember next time. I also want to apologize for the general not very frequent audios coming out for me. I went ahead and waited like a full month in between those two, and this one and the last one, and I realized that, especially being the only Undead commentator on the site for the most part, that's a pretty damn long time to wait. So I appreciate your patience, and I also give you my, well, sort of solemn promise that I'm going to start churning them out a little bit more quickly in the future. That's about all I've got to say. This is Fray, signing out.